watching Rogers TV.
Welcome everyone here to the Rotary Poker Tournament held at the Best Western Inn on the Bay. We're, probably 500 meters from the Bay Shore where obviously the Attack have continued their preseason. And JC, I think it's more important to start off with how important and how amazing that this cause is here for the Rotary Club, and where all this money is going tonight is to the Rotary Club.
That's right, and the Owen Rotary Club does some amazing things in our community. And if you're wondering, is there something I can do to help the community? Always consider becoming a member of the Rotary Club. It's very simple to join. Anybody can join, any age, and you're a part of amazing things like this. And what an event this has been. 70 players have been competing here at the Best Western to try to win and go home with the bragging rights, and of course the big trophy as well. And it's pretty exciting. It's going to be hard to see who's going to win at that final table.
Yeah, I was one of the 70 players, as you can tell by me standing here right now. I was not one of the guys to be able to make it to the final table. I was out just before the big lunch break, so I sadly will not have a chance to put my name on that shiny trophy, but somebody will tonight, and it's going to be really interesting to see how the final table unfolds as, the guys kind of whittle their way down.
Yeah, and by the way, how did you get beaten out? Did you get a bad beat? Was it close? Did you get rivered? What happened to you?
I had some pretty good hands. My best hand was probably a pair of jacks to start off with, but
jacks.
I didn't really have a great set of hands. I never really hit anything big, but for me it was also a pretty rough tournament in all honesty. But I had a lot of fun, and obviously again the money goes to a great cause, so I wasn't that upset to part with all my money.
I told you, I gave you a homework assignment. I said go home and watch the movie Rounders with Matt Damon. Did you do that?
Sorry.
That's why you lost.
As a former St. Mary's student, including St. Mary's graduate, might add, I got the diploma to prove it, that I do not do homework. I do not do homework there. I do not do homework now, JC. So sadly, your homework assignment failed, and that maybe is why my poker tournament did not go the way I would have wanted it to.
Well, stay tuned and watch some guys that do have some skills and maybe did watch the movie coming up as we cover the final table here of the Rotary Poker Tournament.
Owen. Jamie, it's all you.
And we have an all-in.
Welcome everyone here to the final table of the Rotary Club Poker Classic here at the Best Western Inn on the Bay. It is the 8th iteration, as I heard when I sat down to participate as one of the 70 players here tonight. Spencer Byers, and alongside me, JC Coots. And JC, it has been a great night for a great cause, and we're here at the final table, the last 9 players. There were supposed to be 10, but the 11th and 10th players were both eliminated at the same time, so we are down to 9. These 9 guys will all be guaranteed a prize at this final table, but obviously they want their name on the gold trophy.
Yeah, and one guy that's not going to get his name on the trophy again this year is going to be Richard LeBlanc. Last year's defending champion was one of those guys that went out just before the final table. He flipped over a pair of pocket cowboys, and you had to think he likes his odds pre-flop. Well, unfortunately, he went up against an ace and a 3 that ended up being a full house, and that knocked him out. And so there's going to be a new champion this year. One guy to watch for might be Phil Eastwood. Now, Phil's got the gray sweater, and the glass is just next to Regan, who's the Buffalo Bills fan. Phil came in 4th last year, so he's hoping that he ends up at that final table.
And I will just mention, because of the way the chips fell, it looked like Errol Trestlin was actually out on the first hand because of the 5,000, 10,000 with the, I believe, 5,000 ante, meaning that big blind's 10,000 with an extra 5,000 ante. So he's insta out. We're already down to 8 players here at this final table, which is rather quick, and we'll see if the rapid pace continues here.
Yeah, he was sitting short stack, so he had to make a decision, and he started right away. As soon as the first hand was dealt, he declared all in just to see if he could gain some ground. Unfortunately, he couldn't, and well, that's kind of made this final table a little easier already.
And you mentioned Phil Eastwood, the guy sitting to his right in Kevin. He is the player that has been dominating most of the night. He was actually at my table all night there at table 2, and he is one of the bigger stacks, and he is the one who took out Richard LeBlanc on the Pocket Kings. I believe he had ace 3 and hit the full house aces over 3s.
Interesting flop here with a couple clubs down. See if that gets some action going.
Dead puck.
And a quick pull by everybody, I will mention that because the blinds are so high, they're only playing with 1,000 and 5,000 chips. Yellows are thousands, oranges are $5,000 chips.
Do a quick re-deal here. Right now we have Kevin McFadden sitting on the small blind, Phil Eastwood on the big blind here. First action's going to be to Regan Curry.
And he may be the big stack.
Not sure if we did mention it. It was mentioned just during the pre-rules before we started the final table, but Regan and the gentleman sitting next to him in the Nike hat, these are brothers, so the fact that they do look alike, it is accurate.
The uncanny resemblance between Regan Curry and Spencer Curry is by intention. As there is another all-in, it looks like, and it's pocket jacks versus, it looks like pocket sevens
Pocket
to me.
sevens. This is going to be interesting. Flop doesn't really help anybody.
Ace 2-9. 2 pairs the board.
Coming to the river.
And it is an 8, and Phil Eastwood is out. That's the 7th player out. He, again, every player at this final table, JC, does get a prize, but not the ultimate prize, JC.
Handshakes all around by Phil, who for the second year in a row makes it to the final table here in this tournament. Phil was saying that actually a lot of the guys at this final table did know each other. They play in a weekly home game together, and 3 of the 10 guys that play in that weekly home game made the final table.
Apparently, I may need to jump up to sharpen up on my poker skills. Not sure I can afford the buy-in, though.
It's always good to play for play money.
When the real money comes out, usually that's when I go home.
10 to call.
First actions folding all around the table now.
Again, though, JC 7 wide, you got to think that, you know, the ranges are a little bit wider. You're willing to play a little bit little more interesting hands than you would if there was heads up, because obviously there's more variables in every player.
Blinds now go to the Curry brothers. First action will be Barry Brick.
Thank you. Good. Another good tournament, bro.
Oh, it's interesting to watch players' faces, watch as they look at the cards. And in this case, a lot of people not liking what they're seeing.
And I'll be honest, JC, something that obviously COVID got really interesting, and I think Regan Curry's going to put Spencer Curry all in, it looks like here.
Yeah, the brothers are starting to trash talk here.
And he is going to put them all in, so now we're going to go heads up between the Currys. And it's ace 8 for Spencer Curry versus ace 9 for Regan Curry. So
That's
Regan's
a brother.
ahead by a little bit.
Those are brother hands right there.
And it comes 5, 9, 6. And an ace comes off. 7's all he needs. And another ace comes off, so it's a full house for Regan Curry. Takes out his brother Spencer Curry. He is 6, or pardon me, he actually finishes 7th, pardon me. 6 players left now. So that would mean Phil Eastwood finished, if I can do my math right here, JC, he finished 8th. He finishes 7th there to Spencer Curry. Now there are 6 players left here at the final table.
I tried to run it through my calculator and it didn't work. I wasn't sure how to do the equation.
It said error, just like my brain did there when trying to reiterate what I just said.
I just wrote 8008 and started laughing.
Usually final table is a prize for everyone.
Down to 6 at the final table now. Kevin McFadden to the immediate left of the dealer.
10th place got to take a plate of cookies.
Sorry, I should say Scott is to the immediate left of the dealer, then Kevin. Regan, Barry,
5, 15,
Darren, and Ryan all left.
We'll mention everyone who's been eliminated from the final table basically sticking around to see who's going to come up with this championship trophy. Which, I mean, again, if you've been here basically all night, tournament started at 7 o'clock. I was a part of the opening 70 players, as we mentioned off the top, and now we're down to the final 6 here at almost 11 o'clock.
Action to Darren first. He starts by folding down. Scott calls. Haven't had a lot of calls to this point. Now they'll go to Barry.
I think all the players know that, you know, if you're willing to put in chips, you're going to be willing basically to go all in just about. You got to really like your cards.
Ryan elects to check. We'll get to see a flop with 3 in here.
Comes queen, 9, 10. Looks like 2 clubs.
Interesting.
Or for 2 spades, pardon me.
20.
Could have an inside straight possibility. Quick
players.
fold down on the raise from Barry by Ryan.
Another 10 comes off, so straight still on the board. Obviously the 10s are in play. No flush though, as that heart will take it away.
Looks like a bit of a raise there and a quick call. So everybody wants to see the river. It's still in, and it's a three of diamonds. Not likely to help anyone chasing a straight.
Couldn't catch it.
These are 25.
And that's what it sounds like Barry was trying to do.
Nice paper.
Good takedown there for Scott.
That it was.
Yeah. Tournament, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Put me down, please.
Trying to assess the chip stacks now. Kind of looks like Scott is sitting on big stack in the corner next to the dealer.
10 to call.
Got a call there from Regan. Call from Barry.
Yep. 31.
That's an all-in. I
21
believe,
more to
from
call.
Brian.
And Ryan Simpson does push.
And there's a call, 3 players, and for the main, 2 still betting.
Flop comes 8, 2, queen.
20.
Regan does put in. Sounds like 20,000 at chips.
That's a big one. Barry's taking a look at his stack now.
He calls. That is a side pot, as again you mentioned. Ryan Simpson is all in. Next card comes a 4.
All.
Barry
Regan
calls all in.
Regan checks, and immediately he gets pinched by Barry, who pushes.
Yeah, he looks skyward.
Probably had a feeling it was coming.
30.
That's the best you can do is put someone to a decision like that.
And it's 30 for him to call. And again, that is 30,000.
This is a tough decision. You can almost think that running the math, now check the chips.
And he will call. So we get to see the cards. Ace King for Ryan.
No.
Queen Jack for Regan. And it's Ace or 10 Jack for Barry. So right now it looks like leading is the Queen Jack. And the 5 comes.
So main,
One's main.
And I believe it all goes to.
Tannenbauer.
And,
I did not see that going my way.
and Ryan does end up getting the pot.
That's a lot heavier than that, brother.
So with that, everyone got a little bit back.
I had you for a lot weaker. That was the conundrum.
Some laughter at the table
so
there.
5, 15.
Well, you got to cut the tension again. This is for charity in the end, Casey. As much as it is a competition and the guys want to win.
Hopefully
No
so.
one's going to have to give up their car keys after this or anything like that.
Nice to see those cards come over.
I might have to, but that's a story for another day.
Those are other issues, though.
10 to call.
Get some calls around the board here.
Does fold around to Scott,
Three
who
players.
checks, so it looks to be 3 players in.
Scott, Kevin, and Regan are in.
King 8-4 is the flop.
12.
Ten comes off.
All in.
Neat.
That 10's a big card, as it is a push for Kevin McFadden.
28,000 all in.
And it's 28,000. Next to act is Regan.
I call.
Regan will call, and we'll get a chance to see him.
Looking at an 8-9 off.
Nice, Kevin.
8, 9, and queen comes off.
Got the river one.
28 total.
That is going to severely hamper Regan's chip.
Yeah, he started off as probably the chip leader JC, and now he's really diminished that in just 2 hands. Again, just showing that these blinds are really going to take a toll on these guys as this continues on. And again, they might even raise the blinds here in a couple of minutes.
But I did come to the table, big stack, after having won an all-in, and now he's going to have to try to pick his moment again if he wants to try to get some of those chips back. Kevin's starting to build a big stack over there. He's going to need it against Scott.
Ten to call.
I guess at some point, too, Darren might have to make a move here based on where his stack's at.
Flop comes, Jack, 9 ace,
15.
1,500 by Kevin McFadden. Call there from Scott. Next card's another bullet.
That ought to make things interesting. Checks around.
3 comes off.
Ten.
10.
10,000
Make it big call
for
now.
Scott.
Okay, I'll
Seems like one of those
Nine.
bets just to get some more money out of your opponent.
Chop.
And it's a chop in the end. So both guys end up not losing too much, losing anything in the end. So that hand doesn't do too much.
515, please.
Regan moves into the big blind at 15 now.
Well, it's a 10,000 with the ante, so the ante's an extra 5. So technically speaking, that's an extra 5 you didn't even see.
Nope. King four.
That hand was quickly folded around. So a quick reset.
Couple small stacks around the table, but nobody really on life support yet based on where the blinds are at.
Heads up.
Flop comes Jack, King 5. Push by Regan Curry. Insta fold by Barry Brick, and Regan will then reap the rewards.
Gary's getting into desperate territory a little bit here. Wasn't able to get much on the last one when he was the blind.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, is when you are the big blind slash ante, you gotta kind of maximize your cards the best you can. I found that out really quickly.
Right now he's hoping for pocket pair, high pocket pair, so that he can push all in.
10 to call.
Raise.
There's a raise for Darren.
And he's at 15.
Been fairly conservative at this point.
And this may be the first hand he's played.
It's a good move because it's going to force Barry to make a decision, and that decision is to fold.
There's a call there for Ryan Simpson. to the flop. It comes Jack 10-5, and all in.
I was expecting somebody was going to push here, and we got to push on the flop.
44,000.
And it's 44,000 to call there for Ryan Simpson.
Ryan's thinking about it. I've always hated being in this position where you have to make that decision.
It's definitely an envious spot.
Well, they call it gambling for a reason. He's calling.
And he's got 7-10,
7-2 representing.
5-9.
9.
So right now the 10s aren't in the lead, but not by much. Next card's an 8. 9 or 5, and it's a 3.
All bomber.
So the 7-10 will send Darren Peddle out, and Ryan Simpson will double up, will get himself some little more chips. And he's starting off to one of the lower stacks, JC, and now he's kind of healthy and back where he'd want to be.
That was a tough call there. He had the mid pair on the board, which is probably why it took him so long to decide. He's thinking, is there a jack out there that's going to kill me, or do I have the best cards? And in that case, he was right.
And they just said that in about 5 minutes that they were going to up the blinds and ante again. So that will really start whittling down these last 5 players. So again, that will mean Darren Peddle is out in 6th place. And again, I will mention one more time that all these guys do get the prize for being at this final table, being the last 10 of 70 players.
Barry's sitting on the dealer button now. He's going
20.
to have to make a decision before the big blind comes around to him again. Pretty much once that big blind comes around, he'll be forced. And he'll have to hope that he's got the best cards if that happens.
2 players.
Kevin versus Ryan. Heads up. Flop comes Jack,
Check.
4,
Check.
6.
Checks around.
4 pairs the board. And that's a queen.
20.
That's 20,000. Insta fold, and Kevin will pick up the scraps.
Kevin shows
9
what he
high.
has.
Is he still good?
And I think that's because he had nothing to do.
I think it was a 9 high was the call out there by the dealer. So I guess Kevin trying to show bluff.
He got an audible response out of Ryan, which sometimes when you do that and flip them over just to show what you had, that's a little gamesmanship there for sure.
Yep, thanks.
He's also rocking the sunglasses at the final table too,
Yeah,
which
he-
I'm going to say I like that style.
10 to call.
It definitely can't hide some tells, but as Nine Underground said one time when asked about wearing sunglasses, he said sometimes it lets guys think they have a mask on, and it allows you to show actually more tells than you want.
That is true. Even knowing that, though, I still spent $300 for a pair of prescription sunglasses to wear at a poker table.
They are prescription sunglasses.
And then there's Kevin McFadden answering JC's outward response of, are they prescription? They are prescription.
And so much for me thinking I'm being nice and quiet.
How much?
Flop goes 3, 3, 10.
Yeah. No, how much did you bet?
It's Kevin versus Scott.
Well,
Scott's got that. Looks like he's got a big stack, but he does have the oranges kind of hidden behind the brown chips.
And again, the orange ones are the big ones. They're the 5,000s. As you can see there, Barry's got a small stack, but they're all 5,000. So that's probably still roughly 30,000 in chips.
That big blinds are about to come around to him too.
Right now, I believe it's at Regan Curry, who again stacks dwindled since this final table began.
It can swing so fast, like it could still be anybody's game despite the current result. A couple quick folds there.
Thank you.
Scott's got to
10
make
to
a
call.
decision here.
He also folds, so now it is the small blind. And Kevin
Heads up.
McFadden, who calls the big blind, checked by Curry. It's now 9-7-10 flop.
Owen.
It's a
Calling.
calling call by Curry. Leaves McFadden to make the decision. And it's a fold by McFadden, so Curry will collect.
5.
As you mentioned, now it is that Barry brick. He puts in his ante plus the big blind.
You want to go back there, Rick?
Not enough, brother.
And Kevin McFadden just asked Brian, or Barry, pardon me, what he has behind.
I've often seen this too. If you're get to a table, someone's big stack sees your small stack, they will just try to end your night for you.
And they're getting rid of they're getting rid of the thousands to put in all the 5,000. So they are really up in the ante again when the ante and blinds go up in a couple of minutes.
What just happened?
You just got
Colored up.
Okay.
We're taking the others out.
10 to call. 20.
That's a 20,000 bet there by McFadden. Brick's got a decision to make. It does put him all in. And he'll fold it. Which means when the small blind comes to him next hand, he may just have to push regardless of his cards.
The rest of your yellow guys. Yeah. Yellows are done. If you have any hiding in your
blinds go
pocket,
in.
they have no value now.
Simpson and Brick. Dealer, Regan Curry. So first stack will be Scott.
Be the last hand.
Ramage.
10, 12, 90, 20.
Just
20,
announce
10.
that this is going to be the last hand at this level of blinds. They'll increase to 10, 20 after this.
Create some action, eh, fellas?
And as Regan Curry just said, it's going to create some action. It's going to create some fireworks, you'd think.
65. All
That's an
in.
all-in call by Curry. It's a fold around, so Curry will take it, and now he will switch dealers,
10,
or switch at least
20,
dealer trays as
And
Curry's move pays off there.
and 10.
I mean, now Barry is the dealer, as you mentioned, so he's only got a couple more hands.
I've also been in this
20 to
position
call.
many, many times where you keep waiting, knowing that you have to be conservative. You don't have a lot of stacking. You're just waiting for the good cards to come. And that is almost even more frustrating than being put to a decision for your chips.
Simpson.
50 total.
I believe pushes. I can't see his stack, JC, but it looks like he's all in, or at least made a major bet as it goes to Scott.
Made a big bet. He's still got some chips, though.
I believe Curry just put them all in. It's Ace-10 versus King-Jack. King-Jack,
85
Curry,
total.
Ace-10, Ryan Simpson.
Yep.
And Simpson does have about I believe that is technically 10,000 left.
You like the strength of that ace, but let's see.
It'll stick as it's 8-2-9. Make that 8-2-9 with the 10 coming off. Means the Jack or King will win it, and it will not, as Curry will go out. Simpson will just about double up. And that will mean it's a 5th place finish for Regan Curry, so both Curry brothers are now out, so if there was any worry of collusion, it is now officially gone.
That was, I mean, the right call by both guys in that
10-30.
situation. They both had pretty good high starting cards pre-flop, and based on where they were at for chip levels, that was the right move. And it was just going to be whoever hit.
And amazingly, Barry Brick, who's had probably the smallest stack for the last 10 minutes or so, he's now in position to finish 4th. But again, he got a couple win hands. JC, we'll see what happens.
20 to call.
Barry's going to fold, so does Simpson. No goes to Scott. Ramage. Ramage.
You actually didn't raise. Yeah.
So is that considered right?
I'm gonna be.
Here's
Yeah, it's
50%.
like, so you're saying there's a chance? Because I have seen someone at a final table down to their last 2 chips come back and win it all. It takes time, but I've seen it happen.
And that is a fold there by Kevin McFadden, and the pre-flop win will go to Scott Ramage.
This goes, he only has
Now
10 left. Does
Barry
it go to
is
ante?
out. That is his big blind,
stays his
so
big
now
blind?
he is all in automatically. So regardless of his cards, doesn't matter what card, 2 cards he gets, he can get 2-7. It doesn't matter. He's all in.
You heard he said it. I need a little magic here.
Yeah, I would call it.
Well, we'll see if the dealer can do it for him.
Let's see if the poker god's smiling. Did they show her tonight?
20 to call.
Insta fold by Simpson. Just a call from Ramage. Another call there from McFadden. So we'll go 3 to the flop. Flop comes 3 and 8-8. So interesting flop for both players.
Side pot action will continue between these two. But
And that's a 3rd on the board, Jason.
oh boy.
That is an insta
yours.
fold after
Open up
Scott
those.
bet. Kevin folds, and we'll see. And it's a 3 and a 4. And a 10 comes off, and the 10 will take out the 3 of Barry. So Queen 10 will take out Barry Brick. He finishes 4th, so it will now be 3 to the final table. It's Ryan Simpson, Scott Ramage, and Kevin McFadden for the trophy.
Small 30.
A river card there knocks Barry out. He had it. He had the full house right up until that 10 came off at the end.
There was a prize earlier for that.
What's kind of sad, JC, is to think about it. He waited till those last 2 cards. He got blinded in to an all-in, and he hit a full house and lost to a bigger full house. I mean, you almost can't write stuff like that.
Give out the prize for the
bad
behind on
news
the
story
turn
you
and all
tell
that.
to the guys at the water cooler at work the next day. But luckily he didn't lose $2,000 or $10,000 doing it. It's just for charity.
But he was all in the pre-flop.
So some interesting stack sizes around
20
the
to
table
call.
right now. Sitting on the short stack. All right.
That's a check there from Simpson. Flop comes. It's 8-5 ace, and it's a bet from Kevin McFadden, and an insta fold from Simpson. I don't think Simpson even heard it, and it
Dead
is a
pot.
Queen 7, so
10,
showing the
30.
bluff there
Scary
was
with
Kevin
that.
McFadden.
Past 11.
And again, if you don't like your 2 cards, it doesn't really matter, JC, what they are, you're getting rid of them. Especially, again, in these kind of situations where the stacks are, you know, pretty slim compared to the blinds. Big blind now, I believe is
20 to call.
Ramage.
So just here. At this point, Kevin has been a little bit aggressive. That will play well based on where he's at right now. He's going to have to be.
And he does fold. Simpson now has the short blind call. He also folds, so it is a free
10, 30.
chip rake there for Scott Ramage from the big blind. So now it'll be Kevin McFadden, big blind, Scott Ramage, small blind, and Ryan Simpson at first.
The ante always fucks me up. It fucked me up the first time I played in the
Approximately
tournament
what
30
the
years
difference
ago.
might be between
15 years ago, it fucked me right up.
Simpson and Scott right now.
Because you get used to this table you're playing on,
Close.
you start switching in.
It is the fold from Simpson. Ramage will call the small blind, or call the big blind, and it will be a check from McFadden, so we'll see the flop. 2 ace 4 is the board,
Interesting.
and that is a fold, I
10,
believe, by McFadden after a bet by Ramage, so Ramage again. And almost you could say it's a war of attrition at this point, JC, and right now you could say Scott Ramage is winning that war.
Yeah, the high cards on the board are definitely scaring away the competition right now.
And with the blinds being so high, it's an advantage.
Yeah, if your stack starts to get down, you're going to have to start to worry about getting blinded out, just like happened to Barry Brick in the last round.
22 call.
Small blind Kevin McFadden, big blind Ryan Simpson, Ramage the first stack. Call from McFadden, and it's a check there from Simpson. So it's back to the flop. Flop comes. Jack, 8-2. And it's a bet declared from McFadden. And it's 25,000.
Owen.
Simpson's gonna push. And I'm not sure if McFadden's got him or not. It'll be close. And he folds it anyway. And he had the jack. He just shows one card and he shows the jack, so.
Just a reversal from earlier where the bully now becomes the bullied at the table.
10-30.
Well, then you kind of open yourself up for that kind of gamesmanship, GC. You know, it's kind of when you taunt somebody, then they get a play on you. You know, they're definitely gonna give it back to you. You can almost argue they're gonna give it back to you with double. Now, big blind Ramage, small blind Simpson, McFadden the first act. McFadden will fold. Simpson will call. Ramage will check, and we'll go back to the flop. 7, 6, 9 to the flop.
20.
20,000 bet by Simpson, called by Ramage. We go to the turn. It is a 10. Check from Simpson.
50.
50,000 bet by Scott Ramage.
All in call.
Another push from Simpson.
Call.
Insta call there from Ramage. We'll see their hook hands.
Flush.
It is a queen.
Straight.
8 there for Simpson, and it's an 8-3 for Ramage. The 4 comes off. The flush will take it, and I believe that means Simpson will double up.
85.
We'll see if he has Ramage. I don't think he does, which will mean Ramage will be the very much short stack.
That was
Yeah, I didn't see them either.
brilliant call by Simpson.
10,
Waited for his
30.
moment. Was sitting at the flush at that moment and must have smiled inside his head when he heard that big bet.
And I will mention, JC, because of the way the flop came on that turn,
150,
Simpson had
175.
the, or pardon me, Ramage had the straight with the 8, 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, I mean, you almost couldn't have a worse hand against the flush as a straight. I know as a guy who's lost a lot of straight hands through the flush.
And that's it. That's what has to stay in the back of your head is you got to look at your straight and go,
So 10,
man,
30.
I think I got the nuts here. But you're also looking at those now 3 hearts already on the board. And you got to be thinking, what if? What if?
Exactly. But then again, with so few players, they could be playing just about anything.
Yep.
Which again, usually is the advantage with less players.
Case, we've seen some really good calls by all these players here at this final table.
I mean, they're showing why they're here, JC. There's a reason why Kevin McFadden, who was at my table at the beginning of the night, is, you know, one of the last 3 guys.
Just 5 more.
McFadden, I believe, is all in.
Ooh,
It's Ramage versus McFadden here. Ace-7 versus Queen-7.
Oh boy.
Flop comes 9-2-4, helps nobody. 10 comes off. And a 6 comes off. And that, I believe, means McFadden takes it.
Stays alive.
10, 30.
And again, you look at Simpson's stack right now, he's the obvious big chip leader, so one of these 2 guys in Ramage or McFadden want to take a big chunk out of that stack.
This is a major swing in just a couple hands here at this table.
All in.
Nolan call by McFadden. Simpson's got to evaluate.
60.
60.
All right, let's
And Simpson will call. He shows queen 5. McFadden's got,
Offsuit queen 5.
and it looks like offsuit 9-5. Flop comes. 6-2-8.
For 9.
King comes off, still looking for the 9. And the 7 comes off. Simpson will eliminate Kevin McFadden, who is now out in 3rd place. He is the bronze medalist, so now it is Scott Ramage versus Ryan Simpson for the trophy. And Simpson again has the biggest stack, and I don't think it's close. After especially the big hand he took off of Ramage just a few hands ago.
It's this much of a divide. It gets pretty difficult. So now it's a lot of skill, it's a lot of luck. It's looking at your pre-flop hand and deciding what you're gonna do.
It's got 5 left.
Yeah.
Yep.
But here we go, heads up.
That's an all-in push there by Ramage.
Dolly Parton.
Called by Simpson. I think Ramage put them all in, or Simpson probably put them all in. It's queen 10 versus 9-5. 9-5 for Simpson, queen 10 for Ramage. Flop comes 6-4 king. 8 comes off.
7, 9, 5.
Simpson got a lot more outs now. And the 6 comes, so the pot will go to Ramage. But again, he needs a lot more of those,
30, please.
as he will be the big blind now.
It always starts with 1. Yeah, you just never know what can happen in heads up, and take a push all in pre-flop. You never know if a 7-deuce offsuit is going to win you the World Series of Poker.
10 more to call.
I believe that's it.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry, I didn't realize.
For right now, it
My
stays.
bad.
It stays there for now.
Sorry.
I think Simpson just tried to call, but I think he technically raised.
Got your Zoom right in.
There's just a little,
Yeah, you're right.
little ahead of
He's out to
motion.
the auction.
Yeah. And the only thing he could do is raise, which would have matched anyways. And
Just a quick clarification from the
You get that,
judge
right?
there.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
so 10, 30.
I wasn't sure if he just called that broke my action back. No?
No.
Okay, it's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
If he raises,
Yeah, if he raises.
it's all good.
Simpson is the first to act. He insta-folds, so Ramage will collect the scraps.
10, 30.
And again, I won't mention, JC, this is a big blind ante, so it's not just 20 for a big blind, it's an extra 20 for the ante.
It's one of those weird situations.
So I'm hearing 10, I'm hearing 10 and
Pushes him
40,
all in.
or he has 20 and 40.
The rules meant for
Yeah.
This is making
they put the action.
the decisions even more critical for Scott at this time.
$30.
And so now the tango continues.
I mean, if you don't like the 2 cards you got, you might as well keep your chips and try to wait for the 2 cards you think you can maximize your double up there for Scott. Oh, Ryan will, in all honesty, play just about anything. Just by being up so much. His range kind of opens up.
It's like a raise over by Simpson here. And a call.
I believe that is an all-in by
Situation.
Ramage. It's 7 ace for Simpson, and it's a 9-6 for Ramage. We'll see if Scott can hit a 9 or a 6. 5-4, queen comes off. Turn card's a 10,
Dodge is 6 or a 9.
and a jack comes off, which will mean Ryan Simpson eliminates Scott Ramage, and Ryan Simpson is the Rotary Poker Tournament champion.
Well, I feel like we can probably talk louder now that the game is over, and congratulations to Ryan. A great heads-up matchup right to the end, to the final table. But the real winner, of course, is the Rotary Club of Owen Sound. So much money raised, 70 players coming together, including yourself, Spencer. So thanks for helping support the Rotary Club today.
Yeah, they got pretty deep into my pockets in the end, but you know, it is going to a good cause. So you know, I'll be able to wake up tomorrow with my head held high, a little bit higher than it is right now after you know being a pretty sore loser in all honesty.
And of course, the mandatory photo opportunity happening with the winner, Ryan Simpson, holding up the winning hand.
And he'll get a chance to get his name on that beautiful trophy, and he'll get a chance to take the first #1 reward here as, again, everyone gets a prize at the final table. No better to end the game, JC, with the winner here, Ryan Simpson. Ryan, big tournament here for you today. You beat out, you are the last one of 70 players, including myself here today, so big ups to you. What was it like to be able to win this tournament today?
Oh, it was just amazing. Started out slow, and then I just started hitting cards, and got me right to the end.
So how did the big tournament begin for you? Obviously, like a lot of guys bought in, including myself. You know, did you have any buy-ins early?
Yeah, I had two buy-ins, and then the top-up. And then after the top-up, I just kind of stayed level all the way through, and then down the 2 tables, I just started hitting.
And Ryan, is it true that this was the first time you played poker? You were just walking by tonight and saw, oh, poker, that'll be fun.
I wish I could say that, but no, I've been playing for a couple of years.
Nice.
Online mostly?
No, I got a group in Southampton I play with.
Awesome.
Very nice. So now, what does it feel like to be the champion? Now, obviously, again, when you come in here, obviously you want to win. You're obviously supporting a charity, but now you can say you are the champion. Richard LeBlanc has been dethroned. You are the champion, Ryan Simpson.
Yep, the champ is here, and Friday poker tournament in Southampton. I'll be showing up with this.
Okay. That'll be put in the middle of the table, I assume.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Won't even give him a heads up. Just walk right in. Just be like, hey, look what I found.
Ryan, at least confirm for me and tell me that I wasn't bad for telling Spencer that he should watch the movie Rounders to prepare for this tournament. That's a great movie, right, Ryan?
Yeah, that's a great poker movie.
See, go watch it. There you go. You heard it from the champ himself.
Well, thank you so much, Ryan. You go enjoy the win.
Thank you.
So, JC, with that, I mean, what a poker tournament it's been. We finally crowned a champion there in Ryan Simpson, and I don't think there's any better way to end the show than to talk to Ryan and be able to him to show off that trophy, and as he mentioned, go to Southampton and show the boys, hey, there's a champion in the room and it ain't you.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be some faces rubbed on that trophy this weekend.
Well, for that, it'll be JC Coops. I'm Spencer Byers. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Rotary Poker Tournament. It's our 2nd year here. Hopefully, we're back for our 3rd time next year for the 9th annual Rotary Poker Tournament. I assume back here at the Best Western, but we'll see if they decide to move venues, and we'll give maybe a little bit more space, but we'll just have to see. JC for that on Rogers TV. We'll see you next time.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Connect with us by visiting our website or email us at comments@rogerstv.com.
With clubs, leagues, and courts in every province and territory across Canada, squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play and you'll want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box.
October 5th, 2014, my daughter was hit by a train. She was walking along the sides of the tracks, and it shattered her world.
I walk for my partner who is on dialysis.
I walk in memory of my dad.
I walk for all those waiting for a kidney transplant.
I walk because I live with kidney disease. When you participate in the Kidney Walk or support someone who does, you're taking steps and providing hope to thousands of Canadians living with kidney disease. Behind every step, there's someone we walk for.
Who will you be walking for?
Who will you be walking for?
Who will you be walking for? Register or donate at kidneywalk.ca.
Hi, I'm Tiffany James, the host of Her Story. Join us on Rogers TV as I interview various women in our community on how they found success in their own way.
With Rogers TV, you can cheer on the home team from the comfort of your living room. We'll head to the rink, the field, the court, or the pitch, so you don't have to. Tune in and cheer on your local amateur athletes on Rogers TV.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Hi, I'm David Shearman, host of Politically Speaking. Join me for my next show, where my guest will be Ross Kantner, Mayor of Meaford. Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
Hi, I'm Vivica Gravel, Community Development Coordinator with the City of Owen Sound and the River District. And welcome to My River District. This is a show where every week we'll be here at Rogers Studios talking to you and talking to local businesses and people in the community about why they, as locals, love it here. They'll also share some stories about their businesses and how they can help you. So meet us here every week, Rogers TV, for the whole season of My River District.
When we were talking about the name, some people were even worried it was maybe too strong. She is your neighbor. What about she could be your neighbor? It's not just that it could be happening to your neighbor, it is happening.
We're just gonna get set up over here.
People don't talk about domestic violence. They don't talk about women's shelters. You kind of knew it happened or these things existed, but it just was kind of under the radar.
A lot of people are still existing kind of in that shame and stigma that has surrounded domestic violence for so long.
Are you ready?
Yes. Coming forward and telling your story is very intimidating. This is the scariest thing that's ever happened to them. It's the most intense thing that's ever happened to them, and one of the bravest things that you can do.
Okay, Colette, I'd like you to look right here at me. All right.
Back in 1997, I was almost murdered by my ex-boyfriend. I kicked him out of my house after 3 months of living with me, and he came back 7 months later and tried to kill me. He called that night to tell me he was coming to retrieve his things. At 11:40, he kicked my door down. I remember trying to get to the knife drawer before him. He took the biggest knife in the drawer and turned me around and slit my throat. I ran to my parents' house. I didn't make it there. He dragged me back, and he stabbed me 37 times. Police came. I was rescued, taken to the hospital, and after that was the trial. He got 9 years for attempted murder, 2 years for forcible confinement. He went to prison, and I tried to get on with my life. When you suffer trauma like I suffered, you already carry so much shame, and you feel like people don't want to hear it. They say it's been long enough now, keep going, forget about it. Society makes you feel like you've done something wrong because you didn't leave early enough or you didn't kick them out early enough. I never saw the signs because I didn't understand that, you know? When he would call me 20 times a day, I thought he was calling because he loved me. The one thing that I would have needed would have been a person like me to talk to.
I think there could be a misconception with folks thinking that if it's that bad, why are women not leaving? If there's bruises, that is what violence looks like, but essentially violence has many different forms.
We kind of see a mix of all types of people. At any time, we're either at capacity or very close to capacity, and about half of our residents at all times are children. There's no really one type of woman that this is happening to.
Even if you see news stories about domestic violence, like the standard stock image is always the same thing. It's usually like a woman leaning against a wall, her face in her hands, upset, you know, just depicting someone who's really broken. I think sometimes it's just too much to take, so it would make people turn away. We need people to feel like, oh, this is something I want to be on board with. This is something I care about. This is something I'm proud to talk about supporting.
Domestic violence has been about shame and hiding and secrecy, but it's just amazing, the strength of the people that live here and some of the stories that I've heard of. It felt like something that really I had to do, like that we had to share these stories to really change the narrative. And then we kind of talked about how could we do this? How could we share photos and show people in a different light?
We really wanted to do a campaign where people talked about domestic violence, understood what it was, and understood kind of how close to home it was.
They were talking about what she is. Like she's a mom, she's a sister. She's not just, a victim. She could be anybody.
We came up with the slogan, "She is your neighbor." We thought that really kind of represented what we were trying to get at. It's happening in your neighborhood, kind of whether you like it or not, and it's something we need to recognize and talk about. I think the podcast really did kind of bring it to life because people had the chance to tell their own story. You were brought right into it.
There are so many different aspects of these survivors that are so strong and so brave and so courageous, and we wanted to show them like that.
Could you start by sharing a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a child of domestic violence, we'll put it that way. That's really intergenerational trauma if we debunk it in a conversation.
I went back the day following. It was going to change, and I believed it.
You can cover your bruises, but you can't cover the way you feel.
And that's how insidious abuse is. It starts off with these underhanded compliments.
We had launched 2 episodes of the podcast initially at the same time. We immediately saw downloads skyrocket. We had survivors reaching out to us almost immediately saying that they had never recognized themselves as a survivor until they heard what had happened to them through the voices of other people.
They would say, this was so empowering for me, and I felt free that I could finally share my story.
When they take it back and share their story and their experiences in their own words, then it's theirs and it's their power. It's not somebody else's over them.
I think that's what took so long for me to get better, is because I couldn't share my story with anyone. I thought I was the only one. After 20-some years, I thought I was the only one that suffered this because I didn't hear of anybody else. I started sharing my story, and for the first time, I felt like I was being heard.
People say that when there's awareness, then action can follow. More people are talking about it, and awareness is growing. That's kind of the next step. We need to go into action.
It's been very, very scary for me, but I want people to look back and say, because of you, I never gave up. Because of you, I love myself more. And because of you, I asked for help. I know now that this is my mission and this is my purpose.